Okay, so we are gonna be building this. So you see you have an input field, you type something like, I don't know, test 4, right? It shows up in here. Let's do test 5, right? Now, this database comes from server, okay? So if you refresh and you type blah, 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 you still have access to the database. Does that make sense? Right? So you see, it's on server. So this is full end-to-end server. Like there is front end, which is what you're doing right now, and then there's back end, which is a server collecting and storing data for you. Now, for you to be able to do something like this, I made a list of every single course you need to cover. All of them are free, so you don't have to worry about spending anything, right? I would encourage you to make donations and buy the courses because, like guys like John Smilga, Freecodecamp, the Code Train, they offer like it's for free, but I mean you can do donations if you have. I would strongly recommend. I put this into description below, right? And this is gonna be in React as well. All right. So let's get started. We're gonna delete the database as well. Actually, I'll show you that the database is actually real, right? So you see, that's where the data is going. So you type blah blah blah, submit, and it went in here. You see? All right. So let's get started on this bad boy. Okay. The things you need to install are Express and database. And by the way, my courses are not super high quality. I'm just doing them for myself. So, like the guys I listed in here are really the guys you want to be watching. This is just like super simple stuff, right? Actually, I will put this in here. Can you hear me? La 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 la. Okay, good stuff. It's good stuff, lads. Good stuff. I'm from Oiland, Irish lads. Irish lads will be making the video for you today. All right, so we're gonna refresh. It's gonna tell us to. Actually, I'm gonna put this thing as well. What's the display capture? This one, I think, right? Yeah. So you can see what the hell is going on. Okay, so the first thing we do the boilerplate React, right? We stop this thing from executing. So create a JavaScript called server, right? Probably best to do server first. So let's do const express equals require. We'll load up the module express, then const app equals express, and we'll call the function so it will run it. Then we need app use express JSON, and we're not gonna put any limits or restrictions in here. What else do we need? We need to. Okay, course is very important. Oh, Scheiße. You will need a course on how to deal with course. Okay, I'm gonna put my own video in here. Coder Dmitri. Okay. Dmitri Sanzharov, blah blah blah. And there's a video on how to deal with course. on my channel actually. I'll put it in here. I'm looking for it in my You know it's true. Gotta do what you wanna do. Yeah, that's the video you need. There you go. So that's the video here. And I'm gonna put it. Take this video and stick it somewhere safe. How to deal with course error. Okay. All right. So we definitely need to do const course require course, and then we need our app to run the course. Otherwise, you're gonna get this error. Honestly, I'll just show you the error and then do it, so it'll be easier. So app app.listen. We're gonna do port. Let's do 2000. Callback function. Console log. Listening on port. Man, this is a sad song in here. I don't want to listen to this sad song. Let me just switch to this one, Legend. More appropriate. Okay, so now we need to start this thing. So we need to start this thing. How do you do that? Oh yeah, you need NodeMon as well. Installation. And we're gonna run server.js. Okay, listening on port 2000. Okay, excellent. So now it's listening, right? We're gonna create a app post request, right? We're gonna put it into API. You can call this anything you want. Make sure it has the dash thingy. We're gonna have request, response, request response. Okay. So it's just console log. It is working. So if we see it in here, it is working. That means this thing went through. And let's just also console log request body. All right. So request body is something we're going to be sending into the server. So this is now a live server that is running on your computer right now, right? Okay. Let me just double check that you can see. Yeah. So wait, can you see it? Yeah, you should be able to see it. Yeah. So in here is where our stuff is going to happen, right? Okay. So next thing we need to do is we need to create. Let's create a button. All right. So when we click the button, it's going to send something here and display it in console log in here. All right. Now you have to remember there are two console logs we're working with. We're working with client side, which is your website, which is your web browser that has a console log. And then we're working on server, which has a separate console log, which is Node, and it runs on a different port. All right. Console.log. All right. So what we need to do next is we need to create const send data. This is going to be a sync function. And then we're going to do const response equals await fetch. Now in here we need to type in localhost and the server where your thing is running, where your server is running, okay? So let me just go into my So I copy and paste this, localhost. The server is on 2000. So we take this from here. This is the port. And /API, this part here should match this part here. Okay, so this is kind of like a package. This is like a package that is going to the server. And when server sees this package from the web browser, it's going to do something with it, all right? Now in here, we need to put the, so this is going to be, so this is fetch API, right? If you just type in fetch API, right, it will take you to this website. And in here, you can, whoopsie, where's the fetch API? Using fetch, I think, right? Yeah, using fetch, okay? That's what we're using right now. Where's that thingy? Ta 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 ta. So we'll need the method, right? We need the method, which is going to be post, capitals. Then we need headers. And then we need body. Body should be JSON, stringify, and then whatever you want to put into it. So let's put name, Dmitri with ID, right? ID is going to be date new. I think it's date new, right? Let me just double check. Date now. So just Google what it means. It's just basically, it starts the countdown from like 1917 and how many milliseconds have passed. It's a very good idea to use it for our ID, right? Because it's going to be very unique. Okay, so technically speaking, when we click this button now, on click equals like so, send data, and we're going to execute it, right? In theory, that should do it. Yeah, you see? You see what happened? Course policy blocked it. Course policy. So I'll show you how to get rid of this error. It took me half a day to figure this out, so you better appreciate. Anyway, I'm not gonna flame. So I'm a flame lord. The flame lord is upon you. Beware. Const course equals require course. Okay. First of all, you have to install it. So it's going to be npm I, which is for install, course. And that's literally what you do. Once you have course installed, so just put in this thing, course. So once you have it installed, it should be part of your dependencies. You see there it is in here. Once it's installed, you just literally copy this code that I do, and it will work. Use, oh, whoopsie. Like this, and then course like this in here. Oh my god! Oh my god! All right, so now this should not have, we should not have a problem with course anymore. Boom, you see? It is working, which is this thing here. And we got name and Dmitri receiving, which is request is body. Okay? So you see we can do it again. We can click and it will happen again, right? Okay, so the next thing we need to do is we need to figure out to where we're gonna store all of this mumbo jumbo. No, actually, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna create an input field first, right? Let's create input const input set input use state, and it's gonna be blank by default, right? And we're gonna be using use state in here. Okay, so input type text, value input, so that's value input, and then on change equals e set input e target value. So this code, whatever it is that you're inserting into your mumbo jumbo submit, and we're going to change this to submit. Okay. So now instead of name, we are going to be putting this value here, input. Okay. So basically now whatever you type, let's say Freddy, right, should go in here. Yeah. We're gonna fix this when when you submit, it will disappear, so you can kind of type again, right? But as for now, we can do this. If you want enter to work, you type submit, and then your enter is going to work with the button as well. So you can just click enter, I think, right? No, it's not working. I think you need on submit then for it to work. Anyway, it's minor. It's like I had that code somewhere. Doesn't matter. Let's do test again. Okay, good stuff. So it's working. Okay, so now we need to create a database. First, you need to install NEDB database, right? So again, you run something like npm install NEDB in your terminal, right? So when that is done, you do const data store equals require NEDB, all right? And now we need to create a database. So let's do const database is equal to new data store, and you give it a name. So let's call it database DB. Has to be DB extension, okay? Next thing you need to do is you need to load up the database. So database load database and execute it, right? So now we have our database. All right, there it is. So now we need to, once information comes in, we need to push it into the database. So the way we do that is we do database. No. We do it through our. We do it through our. We do it through our. I think it's a. Boo, 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 boo. Yeah, it's basically a find method. I need to add this. Whoops. I'm kind of doing my own thing, kind of my own notes at the moment, so bear with me. Um, Okay, so the first thing we need to do is we need to database.insert, and then we need request body, okay? Right. So what should be happening now is when we send something, so let's do test. Yeah, you see, it's inserting in here. Let's do another one, test 2, submit, there it is. Okay, so now we need to send this data back to the client in here. So what we do is we do this basically nedb and we need this method here basically, right? Only instead of putting anything into here, we're just gonna leave it as a blank object. So we do this database dot find blank object. Then we have I think error docs, but well, docs you can call docs. Okay, doesn't matter. Docs, and then we need response send docs. So this will send this stuff as a text into as a promise response. All right, it's gonna be text, so you're gonna have to convert it back into JSON. All right. So now we do const. So this is response. So response is this. Now we need data back equals await, which is now this function. We'll query this function here. Response dot converted to JSON, and let's just console log data back to see if it worked. So technically this should now show up in our client console log. So let's see, test 5, let's do test 5. Yeah, okay, there it is. You see it's showing up. So now we have the data, we just need to iterate through data. So it shows up in HTML, and that's it, you're pretty much done. So const data set data equals use state. We'll put as empty. I think we should honestly do this ID 1, 2, 3, right? Because my anxiety is that if we don't put anything in, the map method is not going to work. Like there is a way to handle it. John Smilga is very, very good with stuff like this. Like there is a way to create an empty array, create loading. If loading is true, it waits, right? And then once this is executed, you swap loading to false, and then this stuff shows up. This basically will stop map method executing on an empty array. But like we don't need to do that. Just do it this way for now. Okay. We're actually gonna call it loading. That's what we're gonna do. Loading. There you go. So now we're gonna be iterating through data, map, value, const. We're gonna be using name, ID, okay. From value, return, div, remember the key, otherwise the browser is going to complain. I like to put well, this horizontal line so I can see when they are, when every one of them is being added or whatever. So let's do h2 and we'll call this ID. All right. Okay, so now what we need to do is we need to set our data to be data back. So you see this value comes back and it's like this array with objects in it. So now we need to set our data to this thing so we can then iterate through it, right? And of course we can do, while we're here, set input to an empty string. So this is when you click submit button, the set input becomes empty string, so you can I'll show you why I'm doing this. Let's just comment this out. So you see right now, if we type something, blah, 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 you see it appears in here. But the blah, blah, blah stays inside the input field. So to get rid of blah, 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 we need to do this. Set input to an empty string on submit. So now if I do blah, 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 you see, now it becomes empty field. And that's about it. What is it complaining about right now? Oh, I think it's complaining because of this, honestly. So let's just empty the database. Now, when you do something like this, when you manually, you need to restart the server. Node mon server.js, okay? Otherwise, the whole thing is gonna stop working. Okay, so now let's test. So let's do test one. No, it does that sometimes. Honestly, it does it sometimes. You have to kind of like restart the whole thing from the beginning. Node mon server.js. So let's do test one. Yeah, okay, now it's working. Yeah, so basically when you manually delete, you have to restart both the client and the server. All right. Let's do blah, 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 whatever you want. All right. Okay. So you see now this is a full 360. We have the client that is inputting, sending it to the server. Server saves it to external database. And then this gets sent back to the client as an API. In fact, you can use this database anywhere on the planet Earth. Because look, if you stop the server right now, database still stays. If you refresh your client, it still sticks. All right? That's it, done. Donezo. Take care.